Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And I thought it was going to be a slow Sunday.
Yeah, it's definitely not. We have lots to talk about today, so buckle up.
Yeah, so we're going to talk about a champion Magic the Gathering player being banned from an event for allegedly for wearing a MAGA hat in the past, and they didn't want him at this event. That is my understanding. Now, I want to disclaim this. Neither one of us plays Magic.
No.
So, we don't follow the tournaments. We don't follow, professional Magic players. So we're trying to make sense of this as best we can. Now, this is happening at the David Lawrence Convention Center, which we've been to many, many times, being in the Pittsburgh area. But they are having an event run by Card Titan, and they're banning this guy. We're going to take a look at that, look at the reactions. My understanding is they don't want any political messaging at the event. Which
I think is, no political messaging at the event, I think, is a fair stance to take. The issue here is that the event hasn't happened yet. So if the person wore a hat to a previous event, that's not this event. So you either have to tell people when they're at the door to remove whatever or not be allowed to come in, or if you were banning him for a hat from a previous event, you need to ban anybody else who wore something that was quote unquote political at a previous event.
Yeah, I mean, look, if that is your policy,
it's pre-crime.
Right? It is pre-crime. That's yeah, because they said he wears these hats at events.
Just tell him just to have a convo and say, hey, you can't wear the hat.
Yeah, banning him sounds.
I mean, I'm saying you can still ban him if he refuses and shows up in the hat.
Right.
But if you haven't, if these are the rules for the event that hasn't happened yet, you're preemptively banning somebody from an event because something that happened at a past event, but you're not banning anybody else who broke rules at past events too. And that's the issue here. This isn't even really about. Because I'm pro. Let's keep politics out of everything. I mean, I think it's over. It's ridiculous. But we know it's not evenly enforced, and that's the issue. Because it's basically we want a safe space, and apparently MAGA had to trigger you. But it doesn't matter if someone who's there might be Jewish and you're wearing a Palestine shirt might trigger that. Doesn't matter because it's only one sided. That's the question here.
That's just it. It's not evenly enforced. If you said, look, there's please no political messaging of any kind, regardless of
you treat it evenly.
Right,
that's cool. That's fair.
I mean, I think that would be a good policy to have as long as it was enforced evenly, but damn well it's not going to be, because damn well most of the people that are associated with these events are left-leaning, if not far left.
Coming have pride flags and all this stuff in their bios and everything else. And I'm like, well, I hope they don't take it to the event because that's political,
They will argue it's not political.
It's political because
gender ideology.
Political.
Yes.
You keep making everything about politics because no one really used to care, but you've all inserted gender into politics. So you've made it political. And I'm sorry, some one of the people I saw in the past that was one of the players was, making a big deal about voting for Harris and stuff, not at the event, but privately on their own personal stuff. And I'm like, what you're allowed to do. The problem is how come some people are, allowed to do whatever and other people aren't. Now, the other people have said, and I can't speak to this, well, they reportedly heard that he did other things that were bad too, but there's no details. And you shouldn't be given the details anyway. Just trust us, bro.
Isn't that always the case? We heard through the grapevine that they eat babies. Well, show me a video of him eating babies.
And they shouldn't have to show you proof. You don't need to see the proof.
And then when you ask them for proof, a lot of times they stammer and then they just
basically their statement was like a whole not addressing the actual issue. But the issue, it boils down to, if you're banning somebody from something for a previous event for this event, what's to stop them from banning anybody else for some infraction that somebody decides you did? But you better ban anybody else from previous events who also broke that rule. Otherwise, you're not being fair.
Yeah, so let's talk about all this, what's going down as best as we can follow it. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. You get woohoo if you do.
Woohoo!
And we do have a sponsor for this video, so hang tight, listen to this message, and then we'll get back into it. Stem cells are like tiny repair crews in your body. They go and fix things that need to be fixed. And guess who's been ahead of the curve on all of this? Joe Rogan. He's been talking about this for years. Just watch.
I had a full-length rotator cuff tear, and the UFC gave me a doctor in Los Angeles, and he looks at my MRI and goes, "You're going to need surgery." I go, 100%? He goes, "I don't know how you're using it now. It's a matter of time. You're going to need surgery, so it might be better to do it now." So I got it shot up with stem cells. And this was the early days of stem cells in America where you could get away with more. You got to go to Mexico now.
But here's the craziest part. Most stem cell therapies are illegal in the U.S., not because they're unsafe, not because they don't work, but because they work too well. And that threatens big pharma. If you could heal your knees, fix your back, or recover from surgery without pills, insurance, or endless doctor visits, what happens to their profits? The FDA has blocked these treatments. As a result, people are forced to go overseas just to get access to their own biology, and it's expensive, unregulated, and out of reach for most of us. Just one placenta stem cell injection can set you back $50,000. Honestly, I don't have that kind of cash on me right now, but here's what most people don't know. There's a natural way to support your own stem cell activity, and it comes from high flavanol cocoa. Studies have been done to show that the flavanols in cocoa stimulate stem cells to come out of your bone marrow like bees coming out of a beehive in your bloodstream. Harvard scientist Dr. William Lee actually backs this up. Check out this clip.
So, studies have been done to show that the flavanols in cocoa stimulate stem cells to come out of your bone marrow like bees in a beehive in your bloodstream, and they go out and they find wherever it needs to be repaired. If it's in your heart, they'll fix it. If it's in your liver, they'll fix it. If it's in your skin, they'll fix it.
That's right, dark chocolate. But here's the thing. Flavanols are the good stuff found in cocoa beans, but they're usually destroyed during the chocolate making process. That's where Black Forest supplements come in. They've created the first ever high flavanol cocoa powder packed with everything your body actually needs. And it's only 20 calories. Mix it in with your coffee or your protein shake. It tastes amazing. This isn't regular cocoa, it's stem cell fuel. No sugar, 20 calories. Mix it in coffee or shakes. If you feel old, slow, or just off, lazy stem cells might be why. But this, it flips the switch. Over 100% increase in stem cell circulation, according to Black Forest Supplements. 40% off. Get 40% off for 48 hours only. Link in my description or the pinned comment below. Don't miss it. That's blackforestsupplements.com/clownfish. blackforestsupplements.com/clownfish. Thank you very much, Black Forest, for sponsoring this video. Let's get back into the news. All right, guys. So here's where we're going to start. We're going to start with this post from Connor Clark on X. An open letter to Card Titan, Wizards Magic, Hasbro, and Pittsburgh David Lawrence Convention Center on Joe Brennan.
That's apparently the person who was banned, yeah.
Yes, a former Magic champion who wears a MAGA hat in next week's Eternal Weekend, joined by past Eternal Weekend champions, Grand Prix winners, and many others. Joe deserves better.
So he won, and he was supposed to be brought in as a former winner, and now they're not bringing him in because he wore a MAGA hat in the past. Again, to an event that has not happened yet.
Dear all, we are Magic the Gathering players of differing political views who are writing to express our disagreement with how one Magic player, Joe Brennan, has been treated by Card Titan, the organizer of the 2025 North American Eternal Weekend in Pittsburgh, the premier global event for older Eternal Magic competitions.
Okay, so wait. So here's a group of people who are differing political backgrounds, and they're all saying, hey, it's just not right. We all have different, we don't necessarily agree with him, but what happened wasn't correct, and that's where that as it should be. It's just common sense.
And this is this, like, Card Titan's not based at Pittsburgh, presumably, but this is in Pittsburgh, and I got to tell you, Pittsburgh, there's a lot of MAGA in Pittsburgh. I mean, there is.
Yeah, there's a lot of both in Pittsburgh, honestly.
They're both. I mean, but it's not.
The Pittsburgh area is around it. Pittsburgh itself usually leans very left, but the surrounding area would host a lot of these people that would be interested in this. Definitely do not lean left.
Yeah, and that's that. So it's kind of a weird. I mean, I could see if this was like Portland or Seattle or something like that, but
But there are people that the people who are signing it aren't all politically aligned. And that's as it should be. If something's wrong, you should say something. And if you don't agree with them politically, it doesn't matter. Wrong is wrong.
Banning a longtime community member 2 weeks before this major event without any explanation, process, or recourse raises serious concerns for the Magic community. We write to request,
there's no recourse.
Yeah, of course not. We write to request that Joe be given an explanation. So they're not really explaining to him what the problem is. We know what the problem is. Problem is some people probably complained, and we don't want him here. It makes us feel unsafe. And
oh yeah, they use the whole unsafe thing. Meanwhile, again, Jewish people can be around, but someone can be wearing a Palestine shirt, and you're basically supposed to suck it up. I'm just saying, it's like the feeling unsafe is very. Some people are just, they get upset over weird things, like maybe they're afraid of the color green. So anybody wearing the color green should have to leave an event because they make them feel unsafe.
We have another video coming today about a guy who got in trouble for some stuff he said, very mild stuff he said on Twitter. And it was because people went to his book publisher and complained. And I guarantee you that's what happened here. When they say we feel unsafe, what they really mean is we want you to feel unsafe. You, the publisher, you, the organizer, you need to feel unsafe because we're going to rally our crazy ass activists and try to cancel you. So they throw people under the bus to save themselves.
Right. But again, it'll be okay if they make others feel unsafe. It'll be okay if they wear things that are politically, charged, that could cause conflict, could cause people to feel unwelcome. They're allowed to wear that and do whatever. But, don't you dare wear a MAGA hat.
Yeah, we write to request they be given an explanation in the process he deserves, and that all recipients work to produce a clear event rules that are fairly enforced. Yes.
Yeah, that's key. Clear rules, fairly enforced.
If the policy is no overt politics, which honestly, if I were going to run an event, given today's climate, I would say no overt politics, but it would be evenly enforced. I don't want you, going to a panel and talking about Israel and Palestine. I don't want you going to a panel and talking about, stuff that, would definitely be more like start, bashing LGBTQ or whatever at the panel. Just talk about the games, talk about whatever we brought you in to talk about.
Yeah, but you're talking about Magic the Gathering, which we know isn't, we all know how that's been going lately. So it's attracting a certain type of person. But the thing is, it's like, what's to stop this from happening to somebody else? They just decide one day that you did something. But they're demanding an explanation, which they're not going to get it. But even if it was something from a previous event, again, if it is the hat and it's from a previous event, it hasn't happened yet at this event. He didn't violate anything for this event. And anybody from previous events who have worn or, demonstrated political biases, talked about things publicly about politics or whatever, should also be banned preemptively because you have to make it evenly enforced.
Yeah.
Or just start all over again. Just don't wear the hat to this event. Okay, cool. Whatevs.
Yeah, that's all
a very simple. Do.
Could you please not wear your MAGA hat to the event? Some people, it's going to cause problems. Given that,
just wear
very
a red
simple
hat
request.
Or something.
To get the made you look.
Don't put the words on it or whatever, and
Have you seen the hat that says "Made You Look Again"? It looks like MAGA, but it says like.
No, that's funny though.
Yeah. Joe is a well-known person in the Magic community for winning the 2019 North American Vintage Championship, for being a continuous presence at similar events, and for wearing a Make America Great hat. Great Again hat. He has been banned from many game stores and Magic events for wearing the MAGA hat. The list of events that are off limits to Joe now includes this year's North American Eternal Weekend. So he's been banned from shops and everything too.
Okay, so let's get this straight. The guy's not allowed, if it's true, it's just the hat. The guy is not allowed to go to a bunch of shops or events with Magic the Gathering because he wears a MAGA hat. Because he wears a hat. Because the hat's so triggering to people.
Well,
that he's not allowed to wear it, unless there's more to it.
Well, I think that's just enough, because I'm going to look at one of the responses here, and there's a guy who was trying to argue that the MAGA hat is the gateway for actual Nazis to come into the hobby. Nazis
okay.
Going to tell you what to think.
It wasn't the pride flags that brought the Nazis into the hobby. Okay.
No.
Sure. Wink, wink.
So on September 23rd, after he paid for the event, paid for accommodations in Pittsburgh, and had taken time off of his job as a contractor to attend the event and drive visiting friends from Europe, he was told with no explanation other than multiple reports we received regarding your behavior in 2024 that he would be refused admission to the convention center and have to have his entry fee refunded.
Okay, well, you better spell out what these reports are. If you're gonna say there were reports, then you need to write out what these reports said.
Well, here's the problem.
Here's the thing, because there could be lies.
Joe has received no further explanation from the decision makers at Card Titan about why he's being refused entry, notwithstanding repeated outreach from him and the fact that Card Titan has communicated informally with third parties about the decision. Many of us consider Joe a friend and a pillar of the eternal Magic community. Some do not. Some of us share some of his political views. Some of us do not share any. Some of us think that Joe wearing a MAGA hat to MAGA events is in poor taste. We are nevertheless united in the feeling that Joe, like any of us, deserves better. Basically, you got to give the guy an explanation specifically as to what rule he violated. But we know how this works. We've been covering this for years, especially in the convention scene, especially in the tabletop scene, in comics and animation, all this stuff. It doesn't matter. They want you gone, so they look for some loophole to get you gone. And usually,
a bunch of people are mad about the MAGA hat. You triggered a bunch of assholes about the MAGA hat. So they tried to find things to say that you did, even though it's going to probably turn out that he talked about this or he talked about that. And other people at the same time are probably talking about the election last year at this event. I'm sure they were talking about Harris and they were pro Go Harris and everything else at the event last year. I'm sure they were. It was pre-election. So I'm sure they were, but and then the next thing is the reason people are standing up probably is because what's to stop them from coming after them for some, reported unprovable infraction. So I can make a bunch of shit about any of you, right? And say that this happened, that happened, and everything else doesn't have to be true. And you could ban somebody unfairly from an event just based on what I said.
So again, I'm not super familiar with the Magic tournament scene. I'm not, but this person here, Justin O'Donnell, says, is Spice 8 rack going to be banned? He's wearing a Lennon pin. Is he going to be banned for that?
That's what I'm saying. They need to go through. And if any of these people are any other event, or any other event run by this company, and they've been blocked from a place, they need to be blocked. If you're being blocked because of a MAGA hat, then you need to block all these other people. Those other gaming places and everything need to block these other people. This place has to hold it accountable because it's pre-crime at this point. He hasn't even worn it to the event yet. They're saying it's because of complaints they got. Okay, what are they?
So here we have, this is like exactly what you would think. Summer Lady of the Ledger here, her says, Joe is using your and the 155 other people's credibility to shield him. Like, of course he's been cordial to you. You're a cis white man and you've mistaken politeness or even charm for goodness. It's very clear you haven't asked women or queer people about their experiences with him. I can't.
Okay, then fine. List your experiences with him.
You publicly
list it then. Okay, fine. As I'm saying, if it's other things, then the people who are complaining publicly and on the record, write down what your complaint was. You publicly write it down and you publicly own what you said. You don't hide. You publicly put it out there. Bet you don't, because one, people are going to know who it was. And two, if it was a lie, it's going to come into light. And three, you can get your ass sued if it turns out you lied just to get someone banned. But if it happened and you're telling the truth, then publicly state what happened in detail so that everybody knows why this person was banned.
This is very similar to what happened with Vic Mignogna, where everybody heard. There were some things that were going down with Vic Mignogna. Nobody could produce receipts, and he was getting banned from conventions. Actually, there was one. It was Pittsburgh. It was
Teco.
Yeah, Teco brought him in, and then they actually put a statement out, and they said they never had problems with him. And then I think they canceled his appearance, and they haven't. But they got dogpiled by these people.
Yeah, and we defended Teco. And they were going to have us come in, and they didn't get back to us either. But, so because they probably asked Teco.
So this is what happens, right? What happens?
Said anything.
What happens is you get some activists that have a hair up their ass about a certain person in their space,
because they feel unsafe.
Because they feel unsafe. Again, what they are doing, and we're going to talk about this in regards to a book publisher too, is they want the publisher or the convention organizer to feel unsafe. The reason that Vic Mignogna got banned from so many conventions is they literally made threats to the convention owners. Wouldn't it be a real shame? Wouldn't it be a real shame if
payment processors?
They went after in one case they went after the payment processor to try to get the convention canceled. The
evidence that was Anime News Network, and the evidence they put out, a lot of people said in these photos were like, that's my photo and that's not what happened. They had to take it down.
Yeah, they were trying to say that he was creeping on underage girls.
And one of their editors called us a Nazi publicly too, even though we weren't. We just said, hey, let the courts decide.
Yeah.
So
appropriately named Mike Toole. Yeah. Anyway, this is exactly what we're talking about right here. Okay, so this guy jumps into the comments on this and says, sorry, but no. Buddy's wearing a MAGA hat, the modern day swastika, and you think that's cool to let that be? Get out of here with that mess. And somebody
does this person wear Palestine shirts? Because isn't that also the modern, in America anyway, the way these people act, aren't they the modern versions of the swastikas?
Okay, this person responds, half the U.S. voted for Trump. Do you think half the country are Nazis? That's precisely why they despise you. You've completely lost touch with reality.
Well, that's it. This is going to push more people to the other side because you're like acting like Tyrants. You are literally acting like the fascist Nazis you complain about.
Yep. Here we go again.
Same idiot.
This is what they actually think. This is why they're trying to look. We're at a place right now where everybody is so political in this space that you can't agree to disagree for the most part. At least with the younger people, you can't agree to disagree because in their minds, if you're turning a blind eye to this grievance of him wearing a MAGA hat to a convention, whatever, you're a facilitator. If you're not actively on board with it, you're facilitating it, and you're just as bad in their minds.
Wear it to the event.
Not yet, but he will.
To the event. It's literally pre-crime. He hasn't done it. He
yes.
Said, don't wear it. He might be like, oh, okay, for this event I won't. You know, he might have said, fuck you, and then that's his choice. But if they ask him because it was a violation of their new rules or whatever, then he didn't have the opportunity to not wear it, you know?
So this guy says, buddy, I'm not getting into this with you because you're going to lose it.
Buddy, I'm not getting, someone tried that shit with me too. You know, they do this thing where I'm just dismissing you because I have no real argument. I know my argument sounds pathetic and sad, but I'm not getting into this with you because, you know, shut up. Yep. You know, basically, I have no argument. I know I have no argument, and I'm going to get my ass kicked, and I'm aware of this. That's what that means. Translation.
If you can't see it, then what's the point of trying with you? ICE is rounding up people, and there are camps. Yeah. People are being detained for speaking ill of the government. This is fascism. You're a tool in the whole thing.
Whoa. Illegals are being rounded up because they're here illegally. I mean, I think are some citizens getting caught up in it too? Yes, and I think that's unfortunate. And I think they need to be a little bit more careful, double checking that stuff. That being said, he said that first. What was the other part? He said about rounding up. Oh, and then about fascists. You're not allowed to speak ill of the government. I'm like, where? Where are you not allowed to speak ill of the government? Meanwhile, you know, what's your name, Mike? Meanwhile, Mike, it turned out that X and Twitter and it was Twitter time. Twitter and Facebook and Google were actively out there silencing people who, you know, question things like the vaccines or COVID, or they question things like the elections, or they question the government. Their accounts are being banned. But it was okay then, wasn't it, Mike? Because it made your echo chamber a little bit easier to find. It was okay then. And now you're like, they're trying to, you don't have to say speak ill of the government. They try to silence you. They've been, Mike. It's just that you're mad because your flavor it might be under fire now. That's what you're mad about. Which honestly, your flavor is probably dick, if I had to guess. But that's just, you know.
Anyway, Enrico here. Enrico says, yeah, I'm not a right winger. He said, yeah, people don't recognize fascism because you cried wolf too many times for 10 years calling regular guys Nazis.
Yes.
He actually wrote to Card Titan and said, hey, I'm an Italian Magic player. I'm 45 years old and I've been a radical left winger my whole life. I'm going to skip to the bomb here. He said, being left wing, let me also add, this is stupid and always backfires. People seeing a normal guy being called a Nazi and banned without reason will only think the whole left is deranged and behaving like bullies. Yes. So they should support Trump. Do you want to know why Trump got reelected? Why he got reelected so easily? It's because of shit like this.
That was, you know, people are leaving the Democratic Party in droves. The Charlie Kirk situation, well, not even that so much as the reaction to it.
Yeah, the reaction to it.
Drove so many people out of the party because you guys are looking like fucking nuts. I'm sorry, you look batshit crazy. I am unsafe because someone's wearing a hat. Are you kidding me right now? You look nuts.
They do look, and a lot of these people do. I mean, I'm going to be honest. A lot of these people have legit mental illness. I mean, talk to them for more than 2 minutes and go to their profiles on social media and you'll see. But yeah, this person here, he's left wing. He said calling everything fascist, like in the Tale of the Guy Crying Wolf, will only make people desensitized. So when you call fascism, when ICE is deporting people without due process, they're not going to believe you anymore.
Well, if ICE is deporting people without due process and they aren't here illegally, then it is shitty. They need to make sure that they are here illegally before they deport them. I agree with that. But he's right. He's not. This is what we've been saying too. When you keep doing this and everything is an infraction, and it's just the line just keeps moving, and you're just constantly out there, literally witch hunting everything that you don't like. All it does is push everyone the other way, and that's what we've been saying the same thing. And this is a guy from Italy telling you the exact same effing thing.
Yeah. He's like, yeah, you're just going to push people into the arms of, if you think the right are fascist, by acting like a fascist, you're going to push them into the arms of the fascism anyway.
In the arms of the orange man.
Well, that's the truth. I mean, again, that election map was red. It was redder than I ever thought in a million years it would be. And the reason it is because of this shit.
Are you not allowed to wear blue or red or orange?
Oh, that's gonna be the next thing. Yeah, orange makes me.
I feel unsafe. You're wearing orange, but my hair is naturally orange.
All right, so let's go out to blue sky. Of course, you know they're going to get a lot more fist bumps. This is Card Titan. This is the event organizer. This is their official statement. Card Titan has proudly hosted the North American Eternal Weekend since 2013. As we now approach our 11th North American Eternal Weekend, we want to reaffirm to the community we serve the core values which we as a company champion and likewise expect all of our attendees to honor in kind.
Okay, but you have to give them a chance. So you have to give them a chance to honor it first because you're like preemptively blocking this person before the event even happened.
Here it is. Above all else, Card Titan seeks to provide and maintain an environment where all attendees can feel safe, compete, and most of all have fun, except for
unless you lean right.
Except for you right-wingers. Yeah. From our dedicated Eternal format players who make this event possible to our world-class artists who dazzle us every year with their work, old, new.
Again, some of the artists, if you look into them, they have like a lot of, they have like.
I'm glad he's dead. When's the next one going to die?
That I know of. But one especially was like, oh, I am, this, that, and my pronouns are this, and I, here's my art that depicts this, that, and my own sexuality and everything else, but that's okay.
Well, okay, so I covered this a little bit in a video yesterday, talking about Wizards of the Coast putting up a post that they're going to give money to this Trans Lifeline organization, which apparently has some sketchy issues. But beyond that, I also talked about an official Magic artist who is out there, openly wishing for more people to get harmed. Let's put it that way. And that's fine. That's okay.
Well, they better publicly put a statement out that artist is never welcome at their events.
No, they're not going to because they agree with them. That's it. It's only a problem.
Then you're not enforcing it evenly. You're not, championing anything other than one opinion.
Unfortunately, from time to time, it says, the conduct of a community member fails to meet our expectations, and we have to make tough choices in order to preserve a positive event experience. Basically, we don't want activists screaming at us, trying to get us canceled, so we threw this guy under the wheels of the bus.
Okay, but again, at that point, you need to say what they did.
Didn't say. We all love the game, and we take our responsibility to this game, and more importantly, to this community very seriously.
When you hear the term community, you know what it means.
Community means
we've infiltrated. It's now us, and you're not. And all of you, especially if you're cis white men, you're banned. That's basically what it means. You need to go to your place because it's all for us, openly, wide, and inclusive people.
I mean, this is the thing that pisses me off too, because community, every time I hear about like an art community or this community or that community, and then you look at the people that are running it, it's like, no, you mean commune.
Yeah, that's what you mean.
You mean commune. Drop the community. Community means like people that just have a shared passion. You mean commune, something that's locked down and curated, and it's only got people that you approve of.
Yeah, exactly. Because if it's community, be welcoming to all, but you're not welcoming to all. You're only welcoming to certain people with the right opinion that agrees with, which is the left opinion, apparently, that agrees with yours. I'm sorry. Again, wearing a hat, if that's all it was, wearing a hat is not enough reason. And if that's the case, then the guy with the Lennon pin and anybody else that's wearing things that are questionable should have been preemptively blocked from this event. They broke the rules last time.
Yeah, again, if you're going to enforce it, like I said, if we were going to do an event and we decided politics, or we want to keep politics out of it, then everybody's politics. I don't.
And if someone goes to this, I would spend my time going around with a camera and taking pictures of anybody or videotaping anybody that's at the event wearing politically charged anything. Yeah. And if they're allowed in, and it's like on the other side, and they're allowed in, then I would be like, oh hell no.
We all love this game. We take our responsibility to this game and the community very seriously. As such, any attendees who engage in conduct detrimental to these values will have their badges revoked.
So don't ask questions. You won't be allowed to go.
Yeah, right. Be asked to leave the premises, be banned from future events. Such incidents are rare. We hope that continues to be the case. We'll see you October 9th. I'm like in Pittsburgh. If this word gets out, good luck. Good luck. Good luck with all that. I think there's going to be some pushback.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. It's like, I love this. It's like, any attendees who engage in conduct detrimental to these values. So any attendee that shows up wearing something that shouldn't be wearing, they should be blocked from the event, correct?
Yeah.
They shouldn't even be given the opportunity to change. I would normally say, if you're going to enforce it fairly, people try to walk in with things that are going to be a problem. You just say, hey, could you remove that? That would be the case with this guy. I would have been like, well, he wore it in the past. Just tell him, hey, because we're enforcing the rules really strict this time, please just don't wear the hat. And if he came in and still was going to wear the hat, that was his choice to still do that.
Yeah, I mean, that would be a very easy conversation to have, wouldn't it? Just be like, hey, it makes people right now, given the climate, we don't want to make things political. Could you please not wear the MAGA hat to the event? I think that's perfectly reasonable, but it sounds to me, again, just based on what we're seeing, it sounds to me like this guy was not even told what the issue was. They're just assuming it's the MAGA hat. Everybody
who's cheering for this isn't probably, is probably under the impression that they're allowed to wear whatever they want, as long as it isn't MAGA. And they're all like, oh, the community is safer and healthier. It's safer and healthier because the guy didn't show up in a hat. I'm like, unless there's provably other things that he did. Now, if he turned out that he was doing things that were provably, asshole-ish, and they were things that were like, making people feel uncomfortable for really legitimate reasons other than he voted different than you, then I can see why they might have grounds. But they're not saying that. But if you complain, you're gonna be banned too, is what they're saying. If you question it, you're banned. Again, those of you cheering, none of you better wear anything remotely political. No, country stuff. No, wear your pride flag pins or anything, or shirts or whatever. You better not wear any of those things. And it's not because I'm against people that do that. I'm just saying, if you're gonna cheer
you're
this,
gonna say no
you
politics.
You have to abide by the same rules. Then you have to abide by the exact same thing.
No Christian imagery, no atheist imagery, no Wiccan imagery, no, if we're going to go there, then just tell everybody they're not.
Yeah, it's going to be really hard to
be sterile. Come to the event and be completely sterile and just talk about the game.
No red, no blue, no orange, no.
Yep. Imagine.
I'm like, this is so stupid. And they're like, it's really stupid. And if you go to Blue Sky, it's really funny because I don't know if you're on Twitter or Blue Sky.
I'm on. You can't tell the difference. This is Blue Sky, yeah.
Okay, because it was funny when I looked at this at Blue Sky earlier. It's everybody cheering, and then if you want to read the two comments that weren't cheering, I don't know. You haven't put up right.
Yeah,
those last two comments.
Yeah, they were hidden.
You had to read other comments because they were hidden.
Yeah. So Larry the Cable Guy here says terrible, inclusive as long as they agree with everything you say. Yes. Kicking out and banning someone for a hat because you don't agree with it is childish. This guy, Physics Nerd, says everyone who's ever played this champion has said nothing but great things about him. Yet you banned him for a hat. What a bunch of cowards who can't handle diversity of thought. Now,
they can't handle anything other than what they only can see their echo chamber, and that's it. Or they need their own safe space to cry in.
Now they're getting mad because Quartering said that he was going to talk about it. Now the Quartering, to be fair, his channel, it just goes to show like how much things have changed. His channel started out as a Magic the Gathering channel. He actually used to open, that's what he did. He just opened packs of Magic cards, and then he fell into the politics and stuff. But, this is the guy that got punched at Gen Con. So anyway, this guy, Ghost Dad here. So somebody asked a question. This is what I want to know. Is this just about the MAGA hat, or did something else happen? For whatever it's worth, I'd back the decision either way. I just don't know about the guy.
Yeah, because you have to make sure you say that so everybody doesn't like dog pile.
It's not. There were multiple reports of bad behavior last year from both staff and players. We don't have details, nor should we. No,
okay, there's reports, but if you're going to claim that, you better claim what those are.
I think to curtail the backlash, you need to be damn sure that the reports were of something really egregious.
But no one's saying what they are. I heard.
Right.
Again,
no, people harass them.
You're going to make these comments and you're going to cheer. You need to make a public post saying what it was and what happened to you, so that people know what happened and whether or not this guy warranted it or not. But you won't, because one, you're a coward, and two, you're afraid of getting your ass sued.
Yeah, that's just it. Because if it's something really minor, like that, I just think he just showed up and he was, just an out and proud Republican, and they're not real happy about that. This guy here says, old MAGA Joe, he's very much loved in the community. If he goes, the players will probably riot. Yeah, I mean, this was... We'll see. We'll see how this goes. This never goes the way they expect it to go, right?
Well, see, what makes me angry is like the fact that it's all pre-crime. Because he always wears a MAGA hat, not even a discussion. And if they tell him, we're not going to allow that this time, he can still choose to say, I'm not coming. He can also say that my freedom of speech would be violated, which probably would be, argument he can make. But he had the choice of whether or not he was going to come, but you're preemptively getting rid of him for that hat. And again, you're not punishing anybody else for things they wore prior. It's
this person hears like it shouldn't matter if you're coming together to play Magic. This guy says, as a U.S. combat veteran and EDH player, I don't support any censoring. I've sat down with people I don't agree with politically at all and still enjoyed a game of Magic while wearing a MAGA hat myself. All the while my opponent was a guy dressed like a woman, another one was Jewish, and another was a lawyer. We played a game of Magic and still interacted and had fun and didn't let politics divide us from the game we enjoyed. Here's what I have learned. I think there is also a difference between the actual community, okay, and then the quote unquote online,
or the commune.
The commune, the terminally online people, because most events we've been to, I mean, clearly more left-leaning audience or whatever, or more normies than we hear about, right? A lot of these conventions, everything seems so like hyper political, but then you like go to the convention and it's full of normies and parents with kids and stuff like that, and they don't know any of what's going on. But I think these terminally online activists glom on to these events because it's a platform, and then they want to kind of dictate how things go. Like Gen Con, if you listen to the people online, you think Gen Con's the most batshit crazy, insane convention ever, and some of their policies I think are pretty crazy, but you actually look at Gen Con videos and you look at the people going, and they look like mostly normal people, just because they're into the game, So, I mean, what are you supposed to do? That was like the one convention that blocked us. It was here in Pennsylvania, and that was a shocker. But knowing that the guy that runs the convention, it doesn't surprise me, but they blocked us because he was going on about how they weren't, they didn't want any Trump supporters going to their convention. I'm like, you're in
called Trump supporters a Nazi.
Call them all Nazis, yeah. You push back.
I have screenshots of all of it, and he basically jumped onto your thread when you said, it probably isn't smart to call people Nazis if they're using places that people actually went to the inauguration. And he's just like, as far as I'm concerned, all Trump voters are Nazis. Yeah. And I said, hey, bad luck when you're in an area that's really, really, really Republican running a convention. Are you going to ask your people before you come in? Are you a Trump supporter or not? And if they are you're gonna tell them they can't come in, right? Because you wouldn't take their money. That'd be really shitty. And then we got blocked from the convention for calling him out on something he couldn't keep his mouth shut about. And basically told anybody who supported Trump they were a Nazi. That's what he said. We have videos. We have the screenshots.
Yeah. It was so ridiculous. And I'm like, you're in the wrong part of the state. You're in the wrong state for that. But again, if you're running a convention, your job is to just focus on the game. Like, what are you supposed to do? Ask everybody that pays for admission what their politics are? That's the stupidest damn thing.
No, and the thing is, a lot of people aren't politically pickled. The vast majority of people, they can totally, they can play a game with somebody who's different than them, and it won't even faze them because they're just looking for the common ground and not the
right. As we should be doing,
which is what we should do across the board. And if it means like banning any of this stuff at all means that people are more focused on the game and common ground and then less on politics, I'm not against it. The problem is it has to be evenly enforced, and that's the issue. If you're going to censor people by saying they can't, wear a hat or wear a shirt or a pin or whatever, then, it has to be evenly enforced. It's censorship either way, which is bullshit, but it has to be evenly enforced.
Well, again, we've been doing this for a long time, and this feels like 2018 coming back again, that we had a few years when Biden was in office. The people weren't this crazy.
When Biden was in office, and
when they got their way.
Ha, ha, ha.
Right, they got their way.
They were silencing anybody who had an opinion otherwise, provably. Yeah. But that was okay, guys, because you had the wrong opinion. You're allowed to be silenced. As long as we can say whatever we want. Well, now it's coming out that, hey, you can't just say shit. Yeah. Oh my God, oppression.
Well, I mean, this reminds me of a couple of years ago. There was a teenager at a Pokemon tournament who they asked what his pronouns were, and he just laughed because, like, what the hell are you asking?
He's probably nervous because that's
nervous. He probably was caught off guard, like, why are you asking me for my pronouns? And because he giggled at the person asking for his pronouns, he got banned from the tournament.
Right, because I mean, it's not remotely pedo-like to ask a child what their pronouns are or anything.
I'd be like, if it were me, I mean, I was kind of hell on feet when I was a teenager. I'd be like, bitch, what does it look like I am? Just seriously, just. Do I gotta show you? Do I gotta show you what I am? Is that what you're asking, huh?
so my pronouns are fuck you.
My pronouns are fucking you. Let's play cards.
Yeah, it's like this is a kid, and they probably laughed because he was nervous. Like I know our son would have laughed. I would have laughed because I got nervous. I'd laugh, and I would have laughed because I was nervous. And they're like, "You're booted because you didn't tell me what your pronouns were," and you laughed.
I would have. I had a mouth on me when I was a teenager.
I hope they sued. I haven't looked into it since, but I hope parents sue because that's bull.
All right, are we gonna wrap this up?
Yes.
Okay, we ran long on this one. So please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. We'll talk later.
Bye.
For more pop culture news, views, and rants, go to news.clownfishtv.com. That's news.clownfishtv.com.